Hey, welcome back. We're here now live from Automation and Power World, ABB's premier trade show 2013, live from Orlando, Florida. I'm here with Cal Lankton, and we're going to talk a little bit about electric vehicles today, right?
That's correct.
So tell us a little bit. There's been a lot of press about this electric vehicles and more charging stations, and you see them in parking lots now. Tell us a little bit about the state of the electric vehicles and how things are progressing.
Thanks, Chris. So, hi everybody out there. My name is Cal Lankton. I'm the Director of EV Charging Infrastructure for ABB in North America. So, it's a very good question, Chris, and I think you read a lot in the press cycles. If you look at the news cycles, obviously the news cycle is very short and people are looking for a lot of headlines. So a lot of what you read out there are very negative on the EV market. But I think if we take a step back, look at the big picture, the market really is in its very early stages. The adoption rates are basically right where people expected them to be. Still some market challenges we face, but I see big growth for the market in the future. One of the most interesting things you look at that I think people need to realize when they look at how the market's developing versus other markets of similar nature, if you look at the demand or the growth curves of adoption for the Prius when it was introduced in 2000 versus the Nissan Leaf and the Chevy Volt when they were really launched in volume in 2011, it's about 3x demand for the Nissan Leaf and Chevy Volt than it was for the Prius. So really the adoption rates are much higher than they were for traditional hybrids, which were launched as mass market vehicles with little consumer change required. So taking that big picture approach, early stage market, lots of disruptions, it's going to move in a fast cycle, but overall we see a lot of growth potential for the market.
Great. And you know, as far as widespread adoption, and there's lots of talk about some of the challenges of that, but I would think that we did have a learning process as we saw all these EVs hit the marketplace, and what kind of things have we learned that we know that we can build upon?
Right. So when you talk about adoption in general, I think that the two things, there's really two main keys. I mean, simplified, but two main keys, which are vehicle cost and availability, and then availability of infrastructure. And obviously ABB, we play a role in the second one, and we work with our automotive partners, well, like Zero Motorcycles here, to work.
Nice bike.
Yeah, to work on the first part. So we're seeing the car price come down, we're seeing the car availability go up, and then we're seeing the infrastructure options expand as well. So I think these things are kind of what's changing the landscape and the availability in the marketplace.
Now, are we seeing some specific technology enhancements that are going to help the EV market grow?
From a technology standpoint, well, once again, kind of back to my original point about what the hype cycle versus the actual long-term nature of this market. So if you look at the automotive segment, you look at the grid side, automotive cycles are, 3, 5, 10-year development cycles. Grid is 5 to 15-year development cycles. So how do you balance all of that in a news cycle that goes by the quarter, by the month, by the 15-minute period? And that's a little bit of the challenge. So how that relates back to the technology piece is, well, we have at ABB and other places a full range of charging products which will fit into the places that it needs to go to enable people to charge where the cars want to be, right? The other piece is there's also some disruptors out there. So inductive charging, which is wireless charging, so you just drive your car over a pad in your garage, no plug required. Another thing we're looking at down the road, battery switching. So you may have heard of the startup company Better Place, and they've made that business model very famous. Also has some advantages. You drive your car into what looks like a car wash. They take the battery pack out of the bottom. In 3 minutes, a robot installs a brand new fully charged battery pack. You don't even have to get out of your car. You drive away fully charged. Fantastic idea, also a little challenges in execution. So near term, I think it's going to be incremental technology evolutions based on availability of infrastructure, costs coming down of infrastructure, solutions like we have at ABB, which are lower cost and lower power DC fast chargers integrated with AC charging such that you can meet all the vehicle needs. And then over time, we're going to shift to the more kind of higher tech or more disruptive technologies like inductive charging, maybe down the road battery switching.
So how does direct current specifically kind of affect the EV market and the technology?
Yeah, so direct current, I mean, obviously it's not a new concept, so this has been going back since the Tesla and Edison days. The DC charging is a little bit different in the car application. Well, there's two ways to charge the car. You can do alternating current or direct current. So alternating current, you have to go into the car, and there's a converter unit on the car which changes it into direct current to the battery. The battery always speaks direct current. With our off-board chargers, you can take the high-power DC straight into the battery, bypassing the onboard electronics. Vehicle manufacturers like that because it's lower cost, lower weight on the car, and then the infrastructure investment is shared amongst hundreds of users instead of the individual car purchaser. The other advantage of that too is by being able to bypass the power electronics on the car, you can put a higher power into the battery. Still limited by the battery technology, but instead of a 6 kilowatt onboard converter, we can have a 50 kilowatt direct DC fast charge, and automotive manufacturers are working at even faster charging rates at this point.
Well, as we look over the next short year, 2 years, what kind of technology are you really excited about?
So here at ABB, like I said, we're really excited about our portfolio strategy from DC fast charging at the 50 kilowatt level to DC fast charging at the 20 kilowatt level, so that's an hour charge, including incorporating that with AC slow charging, so you have a full range of charging portfolio products to meet the needs of the drivers. So the average car is parked 23 hours out of the day, so it's not about making people go out of their way to charge. The beauty of the electric vehicle is you can integrate that fueling process into those 23 hours out of the day, and it's about having the right technology for the right application at the right price, and that's what we're driving towards at ABB.
Well, here we are in Orlando at APW, and ABB's displayed all over the showroom floor. As you walk around, kind of what really caught your attention this year?
I mean, we work in a one part of ABB. It's just such a technology giant. When I look at all the places where we can apply not just the charging products, but our storage products, our grid-connected products. So one of the reasons ABB is in this market, so this is really the electric vehicle market, one of the most consumer-facing markets for ABB. So a lot of people ask me, what's the play for ABB in electric vehicle charging? Very early stage, kind of a startup mentality, and really it's about how can ABB tap into the fingertips. So you look at the end users, how can we get down to that end level of the grid, have those end grid touch points, and then work back up the ABB value chain with things like storage, grid stabilization, StatCom, volt-var compensation, and demand response, demand aggregation. So really what's so exciting about EV charging is I'm touching on all those different points just through this EV charging segment. So I feel like really I'm an ambassador of the smart grid just as much as I'm working on EV charging.
Thank you so much for joining us today. I appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow. This is our last interview for the day with the Brady Bunch. We'll be back tomorrow with a series of interviews, and we look forward to seeing you in the morning at 10 a.m. Cal, thank you so much.
Chris, thanks very much for your time.
All right. Thank you.